Hello, thank you for connecting to our webinar today. And first of all, thank you for your time as well. During the webinar today, if you have any questions, please, in our chat window, and we will be asking those questions throughout the presentation today. If there are additional questions after the webinar, please feel free to connect to our sales team at parallels.com. It doesn't matter the region you are, we will be answering your questions at any time. The topic for the webinar today is about Parallels RAS version 16, which was released a couple of months ago during the 4th of July weekend. And we are bringing a few new features. They're very important in terms of the scalability of RAS, new features that we added for end user performance, and as well new capabilities about integration and automation in RAS. So the first topic to talk about is in the VDI space. We have done with RAS, especially on the performance side, is related. Let me start over here, the screen sharing here. So the first improvement that we have done is related to our VDI capabilities. In the VDI area of remote application server, what we have done in terms of improvements in the scalability is the new scenarios related to support KVM that have been asked us to deliver for quite some time, and actually the capability to now use link clone VDI. So the link clone area that was introduced in this particular version helps a lot in the disk optimization and resource use of VDI deployments. And very cool in this particular new action with RAS is the ability to use the full clone or link clones pretty much in all hypervisors we support. Into that, we added the new support to Acropolis hypervisor. We add another approach where you can prepare virtual machines for cloning, which is called sysprep in use cases. And this new version of RAS, we have one implementation, which is RAS prep. We can use a much more optimized way to deliver and prepare those virtual machines. In addition, with Active Directory, it's more seamless and done in a much easier way where you can point the VDIs that you're creating and delivering to the end users. So in version 16, this was one of the biggest changes that we have identified through requests of customers worldwide. Of new features and improvement related to application packaging or application containers. You can use VMware solutions or other vendors. We have been working with Turbo.net, where we created an integration directly into the RAS console, where you can query packages or application packages directly from their website using a web services call. So you can enable it and push it to all your terminal servers. This for public packages at this point, and we're working with Turbo to do private packages. So using the public packages, there's no cost to it, but using the packages that you create with them, there is additional cost to it, but it's super simple to create your own packages. What is the case for here? If you have your own custom app, and instead of using two different terminal servers to deliver it, or even a specific version of Windows, we create a container, limits the interaction between the application and the operating system. And have two executables running at the same time on the server without any conflict. A use case that we have seen in the past is two different versions of SAP, for example, or versions of Internet Explorer. The API, now you have the ability to customize the way you want. That version, or before version 16 was released, change CSS files, to change logos, colors, patterns, and so on. In version 16, we have a UI that you can do all of these customizations that comes into logos, language, login message, after login message, save icon, or even create department views or different entry points or URLs based upon Active Directory groups. And that will be demonstrated in the demo in a few minutes from now. On the end, we have done significant improvements. Now you can allow administrators to create called quick keys. So if your applications have specific keystrokes, you can create or map them in the console. And when the user logs in RAS or Android clients, you can use that feature right away. So you don't have to think of different keys or tapping on the screen. It's just one tap and works right away. The second one, it's a new feature that we have built a partnership with this company named SwiftPoint. We have an integration with iOS. It is Bluetooth mouse, and use it as a PC, and I'll show a demo how you can connect to it and use it as a regular mouse on your computer. You won't see me, but a YouTube video that shows you in no time what we have done, how right, left click, or scrolling capabilities work with a physical mouse attached to an iPad. For this, we're using now the ability to integrate with Apple passcode and Touch ID capabilities. So using the fingerprint capability, like many other applications or apps do in this world, now it's available in our client as well. It was an old mouse feature. We used to call it used to be called the Dumbo mouse. The Legacy 2X client, we brought that feature again to this client of RAS. For which install, update RAS, or changing configurations behind the scenes, like adding, removing term servers or remote desktop servers, gateways, activating licenses, and such, we did a more comprehensive API that was introduced in version 15.5, and we have made improvements in the API in version 16. For example, our deployment that you can automate it on Azure and as well on AWS, use the API, which basically runs first where it executes the installer, connect to the API, activate the license, and add several applications to the published folder or apps that you do. So in my case, the script is not very big, it's more or less 40 lines, and the whole installation process, it's seamless, automated, and highly repeatable. So this feature is great for environments where you have your low instances, or if you're a service provider or ISV, where you need to add more and more servers, why you can use the API for such kind of integration or automation. We have created a few new features. One of them, now you can manage user access by location, time, and device. So it is, I don't want it to log on over the weekend or in the middle of the day, for example. Now we can restrict settings options for all of the Parallels clients, which means all Parallels clients, including mobile, receive client policies, and you can enforce it to not have them add new connections for RAS or even remote desktops. For client management, where you for kiosk mode implementation, you now remotely lock a device, and for all Parallels clients for Mac, Windows, Chromebooks, and so on, with the ability to automatically log off the client, but keeping the session alive in the terminal server after work. For example, there's a range of time that you can set up. But the idea here is not keep the client connected all the time. There was a security concern that came from a couple of customers. We have implemented version 16. The ability to disable clipboard, so stays natively active or allowed throughout the Parallels clients and local devices. Now you can turn off that feature flawlessly. And that is also part of what I'll be showing in the demo. Windows, and this is a use case if you're a service provider or on ISV. And the idea here is instead of using Windows 7, 8, or even 10 as VDI, you deploy instances of Windows Server 2016 or 2012 Data Center Edition. Based on Microsoft contracts, Data Center Edition, you can deploy as many instances you want. Benefit, you are required to get RDLs, you're not required to have VDI licenses. So if you need to have 100 virtual desktops and you have the infrastructure and you have the Windows Server Center Edition, you collect 50 of those and use 2 desktop licenses given by Microsoft because that's already included, and reduce your operational costs. A very specific feature that has been introduced years ago by Microsoft to service providers, and now we are allowing Parallels RAS customers using VDI to also deploy the RAS agent in Windows Server virtual machines. And it can be templated like a regular VDI that you run on Windows 7, 8, or even 10. The big highlights of version 16. So let's jump into a demo where we'll show you all of those features one by one. So let me just show you the first part of it. We changed a bit the look and feel here in version 16, the colors and a few other things related to the download the client. But the big changes you can see is once you log into the RAS farm and you load it, the section now shows version 16 if you have the client. And let me open the client with full experience. So let me open it. This is connected into my Azure demo environment. And here's change. Now what we call Parallels farm. Because you can install the console on any Windows device in your network and go to one or multiple farms that you have. So the console now detached from the publishing agent or the controller, and you can make changes directly in your computer and push it to your farm. So connect console. That a few things changed. The first that I wanted to highlight is the ability now to have a dashboard where you see all of your components. Some of them online, some of them offline. And here we added the themes view, where we have different URLs that you can have for teams based on Active Directory groups. So a generic change the URL you do for it or who needs access to it. And the appearance side, I can change the color blue. Company logo. The messages before in and after you log in. Bar customized to have the languages you want to have. And footer, you can add different URLs that will be implemented in the bottom for like your technical support, documentation, your website, and so on. Before these changes, you can click on preview. Now we are used. I will click OK. I'll apply this particular change. And next time I log off, log in again, the change has been committed. So now to customize the HTML5 and front end. So let me put this back into red. And if you don't like this particular colors over here, you can pick and choose using a color palette that you like, specific parameters. The next that we have added here is in the VDI host area. So let's click on the VDI host. Environment, I don't have VDI up and running, but I'll show you this difference. Now we have here the KVM libvirt capability. So if you're using Red, SUSE, OpenStack, or other libvirt KVM, we have the compatibility, and as well to Nutanix Acropolis. On the public side, we have also made changes to the screen where mostly or top used features or actions now are available here in the bottom. Creating folders, deleting items, sort them, find an application, and so on. If you click Add, let me do the Victor's folder for a moment. I'll add with this new option here for applications that were built on the container using turbo.net. And integration where we query Turbo's repository. And you want to add, let's say, a tool over here. Let me add a file component tool, and I use 7-zip. Over here, and then instead of you doing parameters, we have Turbo, which means we will put parameters to all of the terminal servers that will be part of this application. Say I want to force it down to a specific one and apply. Now, throughout the client, 5 or even native clients, once it's saved, it will be presented here. Here we have the, and you click and open into the Parallels client, we will see the application being downloaded for the first time. So it's prepared here. As you can see, the turbo.net application. And then we can see the package opening here. So this is, the app that it's, a CD app. Apps like Internet Explorer or others that I have, we're working in a very similar way. This quick keypad. Here in the quick keypad is if you're using version 16 clients as well on iOS and Android, you can create your own keystrokes based upon capturing screen. So let's say a new shortcut, let's say I want to use out function F4 and then add it to the stroke. And you can also use menus like, let's say here, close app out function F4. Here's cap. I'll click OK. And as well, you can link them to your app. So by link option that you see over here, we select the apps that will be mapped to this called Excel application group. Name Excel, but it could be finance application, shortcuts, and so on. And so and by the way, it's really straightforward to use. In the we made a couple of changes here. Settings area with this new feature, automatically log off RAS idle sessions. And you can use specific time frames where if the connection is idle on the client side, be disconnecting those users. A few changed. So the one that was changed here, connections, you do not add RAS connections or not add standard RDPs. This will happen as soon as you do your first or a first connection added and established in RAS. In connections, what I have here is in the local resources, the clip be turned on or turned off. Options, advanced, we used as a permanent option as for resolution displays, in case you have like Retina displays or Super Retina displays on Macs and or Surface devices. For agency redirection, let's say gateway or your gateway farm is offline, we now the capability that we can bypass all the client connections, even if they're calling your address to a secondary address, using the gateway feature. So this is for emergency maintenance window that you might have. A very subtle new feature that we added is you don't have to use anymore the entire URL. So let me just lock my connection here for a second. And just use the address name. Translate to my URL. Also a new feature introduced in version 16. And then manage here in the gateways where you have requests and they will change URL. Even if you have a custom URL, testing, you can replace this entire URL and make custom URL as you wish, as long as a valid URL that you have in your environment. For performance and load distribution, remote PCs, RDS, and gateways have a new feature that can manipulate which third publishing agent you're using. 15.5, we added a new logic that gets the load automatically between one PA to another. Let's say you have one PA on-prem and another one in a backup site, and you want your nodes to be talking to a specific closer publishing agent controller. You can use option here to specify that. We're using this feature a few sites where they have between one site to another, like office to office VPN, and as well cases or on-prem with cloud service providers like Azure or even AWS. So here, gateway, RDS host, here agent settings, here same option. And if you go to remote PCs, we will see the same option here as well in the agent settings. It was added throughout the scenarios that we can cover. The pub side, what are use cases based on policies and deployment, we changes into the administration side, and this is a big one. Now support Active Directory groups. You don't have to say a specific individual as administrator. In this here, the domain, the one here, just for you to see it. The query search on Active Directory is based upon group as well. A big complaint we had for a couple of years at least, and that's implemented now 16. So, if you have any questions again, please feel free to add them into the chat window, and I'll address in a couple more minutes. So let's go to my iPad for a moment. So just open QuickTime. I will start sharing my iPad screen. And do a few things first. Here, settings area, and to Bluetooth, you said we have the Swift point over here. This is a Bluetooth mouse that I just mentioned to you in the beginning. We have a video on our website if you want more details about it. So if I turn on, the connection established with the Swift point. Once I open my client, now we have the capability. My fingerprint to connect to it. No changes in the client at this point besides the connectivity part. Now connect to an application here. So let me go to Microsoft Office and use Excel, for example. Connect to our farm. It's a connection. Time. My session was brought over, so that's why the Excel over here and the console. And let's open a document that we have introduced now. If I change mouse pointer view, here you see the touch option that we did before, which is the magnifying, learning what you do, and options and colors you wish. If I go to the mouse options here, we can use mouse with click, the right click. So it will feature back in version 16. Depending on the app you have, you see on this right side here is the Keypad. Right here, instead of combine words, I can say open document, save documents, or undo options. So let's tap here, open, and open files. One tap in one scenario. Super to use in this particular case. Other features that we have added: micro for redirection for Skype calls. If you're using printing capabilities, we increase the compression in this component on mobile devices. And keyboard integration that you with the touchscreen is also available when you use like a Bluetooth keyboard or the iPad keyboard. So once I tap in a specific field, use additional keys, they appear on the bottom. It's kind of similar to what Apple did with the touch bar capabilities. Once we can back here to your taskbar and see the apps that you have opened. We have made some improvements and changes to change domain password now into the agent or into the client. Now here in this particular mobile experience, to increase sharpness and quality, we enable touch mode in Microsoft Office. If you're using the Swift mouse, it can be integrated right away with this particular mouse technology. So you can go online, Amazon has it, or even directly buy it from SwiftPoint, this particular mouse technology. The thing about this particular client is, if you're using iOS 11, which is my case, so we go here to General, this particular device is already running iOS 11. It's something that we wanted to test prior iOS 11 launch. Now it is available to all customers. So my switch point, the battery is out. Now connected again. So let's go to client and show you one more thing. And I'll do this thing. I'll open Excel. The mouse screen with and the features you have with the left click, a new file, let's say a family budget document, and one can click the left click, right click, and changes. I encourage you to take a look in the video we put into YouTube. You see the mouse at the same time on the iPad screen. Okay, so let's just go back here to the console. So just remove select here. And more things before we wrap up. So we're refreshing that was on my iPad now to my laptop over here. Okay, so back in the console, with other changes in the administration side. If I go to my RD session hosts, we move where you can control session management. Management now is running this particular part of the console, and we can see, for example, Dawn is connected into this particular app, but it's actually running. So a few apps, they're idle mode at this point, no hang applications. And from here, you now can take the actions to remote control if the session was active, and then Discord control. This is something we moved in version 16. And the thing I wanted to highlight in connection side, using second level authentication, have done some rework on the SafeNet integration with different versions of it. We updated to the latest version of SafeNet, but we still can use Radius, DeepNet, and for two-factor authentication based on groups. So let me screen here and let's check if there are questions. Okay, first question I see here is, can I use the upgrade path? Okay, that's a question. The upgrade path is similar to what we have done in version 14 to version 15 and 15 or to 15.5. First, check for a new update on Parallels website. You can download, install, or you do it from the console. And from there, you install publishing agent, and it is going to put the packages to all of your terminal server gateways, remote PCs, and so on. Depending on the size of your environment, it might take a couple of minutes. If it's a very large environment, I usually recommend to have our maintenance window for that matter. See here in the chat window one more time. Question is, okay, do your multi-factor authentication? Working on it, and in fact, we have a couple ideas and scenarios that could be working with you. We can have a discussion offline and view how MFA using the MFA server and portal could work for you. And policies. Oh yeah, policies. No question here is: do we finally support audio redirection with microphone redirection? Yes. In 16, the clients have been updated to support bidirectional audio, and now we're working with mobile clients such as Chromebooks and HTML5 to support this particular use case as well. I think that covers all our questions, and I would like to thank you for your time today, and if you have additional questions, please contact us, and have a great day.